Okay dudes, welcome back to the channel. We are on our way out and I thought I'd just stick this GoPro on, this buggy old GoPro 7, and do some recording. I want to chat about the subject of cars becoming too fast. Now, we live in an age now of the kind of online review, don't we? Everything that goes out, I think YouTube has probably become a far more powerful platform than television. You know, before YouTube, really it was all about television programs and stuff, and people would tune in on a Sunday to, like, you know, the car show and stuff like that, and watch stuff online, maybe read magazines. I think it's all shifting over to YouTube, and like YouTube reviews of cars and YouTube reviews of anything are just becoming the medium of choice because everyone's got instant access to it. You want it, you're interested in a review at the point when you're kind of going to buy something, or if you're interested in the subject matter. So it's just there at your fingertips for YouTube. Now with performance cars, it's more and more competitive between all the major brands, isn't it? And what goes on YouTube is a lot of times reviewers compare performance. So the classic YouTube review is sticking cars on runways and doing like 0 to 60 pulls of cars, and that image of like one car outpulling the other on a runway strip makes more of a psychological impression with 99% of blokes, young blokes, watching these videos than anything else. The car manufacturers must just be sitting there watching these bloody videos and thinking, guys, we've got to have the cars that are the best in class at doing the 0 to 60 pulls, because that's probably the most important thing, along with how much it costs and what it looks like. So what's happening are the cars seem to be getting faster and faster and faster, just to kind of accommodate, sorry, I'm just trying not to crash as well, just to accommodate these kind of YouTube reviews. Now, do you remember, wind the clock back about sort of 4 years ago, what are we now, 2019, wind the clock back 4 years and the real fast performance cars were kind of getting closer, you know, to 4 seconds was like a kind of benchmark, wasn't it? And I know some of you are going to say, oh, but this one could do like 3 point whatever, or, you know, this one could even get into the 2s, the ridiculous projects that kind of, what I'm talking about is the cars that some of us, you know, with a bit of money might have had access to. Typically you're under 5 seconds and then you're getting closer to kind of 4 seconds. The new BMW M140 that's coming out, you know, next year probably, it's going to be BMW's kind of like 1 Series entry-level hot hatch market ultimate performance car in that class, and it's probably going to be doing sub 4 seconds 0 to 60 times. Sub 4 seconds 0 to 60 times. I'm going to say that one more time. Sub 4 seconds 0 to 60 times. Now to some people that's just, it's just less than 4 seconds, but to most people that have driven fast cars, which is all of us I suppose, a sub 4 second 0 to 60 is a car with some extreme performance. In fact, performance of hypercars almost of 4 or 5 years ago, something like that. Now so that's the first thing. You're going to have, we're moving into the era of the sub 4 second 0 to 60. Come on you bullshit. Fucking hell. We're moving into the era of the sub 4 second 0 to 60 entry level hot hatch. Forgive this dodgy video guys, I'm trying not to kill myself as well. Now these cars, the other thing that you combine with the fact that they're ridiculously quick is that these cars are now available through these PCP deals where who can afford to go and spend 40 to 50,000 on a new car? Not that many people, guys. Who has 40 to 50 grand kicking around? If you do, you kind of bookmark it, you put it to one side, unless you've got millions, and it's like your little nest egg. You don't want to suddenly shell out all that money on a car. So everyone seems to be buying their cars on PCP or finance, and most of those people do it because they don't have 40 or 50 grand in the bank. They've probably got a couple of grand in the bank. The net result of this, though, really is that, without being too disrespectful, is that kids that are in their 20s that are earning very modest salaries, as we all do when we start out in life, are now going to have got access to cars that are pulling sub 4 second times. I know you're going to get hit on the insurance, and you might even get hit a little bit on the tax, but the tax is less of an issue nowadays. I don't know if that's a good thing, guys, that, you know, you could walk into a car dealership with a, you know, 2 or 3 grand, 4 grand in your pocket as a deposit, and start shelling out 400 quid a month or less than that. You know, the M140s, you could get people getting towards the end for like 250, 300 quid a month. So you could effectively walk in maybe next year when the new M140 comes out, or the new RS3, or the new Golf R. All these cars are all going to be competing, and they all know they've got to be getting below 4 seconds. That's going to be like the new benchmark. You're going to be able to walk in as a young lad, stick a couple of grand down on the table, and start shelling out, what, 300 to 400 quid, something like that, and the prices will come down, and have access to cars that I think are too fast for the roads and too fast for people in their 20s potentially to be driving. I know that's going to piss off a lot of 20-year-olds. You know, I'm an old bugger. I've said many times, if I'd have had the M140 in my 20s, I'd been dead, because I used to rag the hell out of my cars, and the cars that I had when I was first starting to drive and buying my own cars were crap, because, you know, they're like 700 quid cars and stuff like that, and they had nowhere near the power of these cars. So this video, the point is, and what I want to get your point on, whether you're a young guy or an old whinging bastard like me, do you think that really we should be giving access to cars that are capable of doing sub 4 second 0 to 60 times? Do you think you should have those, you know, have access to those cars with a couple of £1,000, you know, deposit, down payment or whatever, and then a monthly of 300 or 400 quid, which you could probably afford, even if, the thing is, a lot of the guys buying them is they have no mortgage, they have no cost, they might still be living at home. So if you're getting, say, £2,000 a month salary, or even 1,500 quid a month salary, it's highly likely you've got a couple of grand saved up in the bank, and you could probably afford 300 or 400 quid a month. So that's the way. The counter argument that's interesting is, you could say that the blokes with 50,000 grand in the bank are no likely to be better drivers. So, like, you can't discriminate on age. If you're old enough to drive, then you're old enough and responsible enough to have a really mega performing hot hatch. But for me, I think some of these cars, quite frankly, are ridiculous, and they're too fast to enjoy. That sort of performance, you know, let's say 3.9 seconds to 60 or something like that on a road, especially in winter conditions like this. If you've got kids dragging it around like that, there's going to be a lot of accidents and probably a lot of fatalities as well. I think you're better off. Do you really need sort of more than 250, 300 brake horsepower? Do you really need it? You know what I mean? That's the question. This car has 230, and it could do with a little bit more oomph. But it doesn't need a lot more to enjoy it, guys, and most of the fun comes around controlling the car rather than how fast the car pushes you down the road, for me. So that's the discussion for today. What are your thoughts on the increasing levels of performance that we're seeing at the moment, to the point where the entry level, top of the range hot hatches are going to be potentially pulling sub 4 second 0 to 60 times? Absolutely bonkers that is. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Please subscribe, and I will see you soon on the Forensics Detailing channel. Oh no, we got a bloody traffic jam ahead. Over and out.